Well, you mentioned some of the differences, some of the concerns that we have today, which have to be addressed. You know, sport cannot just go on disregarding the world around it, and so clearly the ambition is to make it as reduce its carbon footprint as much as possible. And you talked about that. It's very, very interesting and welcome that we can tackle these problems. It's part of Formula One is finding solutions to problems. And that is really what we do in Formula One. So it's a massive logistical, as you know, but it's stunning how all this thing is moved around the world. It's a proper roaming circus for sort of 2/3 of the year, everyone going everywhere. And that is mostly the carbon footprint. So anything we can do to reduce that is good. We have hybrid engines, power units. They are reducing the fuel. The fuel efficiency of these engines is more than any other internal combustion engine ever. So Formula One is really pushing the limits there. And once we start using, we're already on, I think, 10% ethanol, and it's going to go as much as possible to sustainable fuel. The safety thing is completely different. We've had some terrible accidents, example, going back into the dark history of racing here. And we lost some Formula One drivers. Today, we know that it's possible, although you don't want to do it, it's possible to drive a Formula One car into a steel barrier about 150 miles an hour, catch fire, and then get out, which Romain Grosjean did in Bahrain, which was utterly terrifying. And but it's a testimony to the improvements Formula One makes in safety as well, that he managed to survive. And that hub, the chassis that it was in, is on display in London now in the F1 exhibition. I don't know if it's coming to Amsterdam, maybe it will.
We do the transportation of that as well.
Yeah, transportation, okay. So, well, anyway, there's not much left of it, so it's quite easy to move. It looks like a Damien Hirst piece of art.
Yeah.
It's in a glass case, and it's just this burnt out grey tub, the remains of his car, on display in the exhibition, and it's totally amazing that he got out in one piece. But that's safety, and also the promotion. There's so much more interest. Netflix has come along. It's broadened the interest. It's made people expose people to the drivers, their lives, the way they think. And so there's the human drama as well. It is totally different to when I was racing. It was all there, but it just wasn't magnified like it is now.
Exactly. No, coming back to that, thanks for giving the hint. The balance of power among the teams today versus the older days, your active era. What would you say? How has that changed, evolved, or is it still the same competition only?
Oh no, competition will never change. And as you know, you don't survive in this game unless you are prepared to get up very early and go to bed very late, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, in order to meet your, to get there first, if you like, with the ideas and what is coming down the pipeline. So it's basically the race itself. If you take that as a metaphor, the race, they get to the grid. I mean, every split second is taken up with a procedure that they've already planned in advance. And then, of course, you've got the tyre changing in the race as well. So the team, all the mechanics are drilled, they've practiced, they've rehearsed. So everything they do has already been rehearsed. Ron Dennis had a good expression, which was, if you've got 10 years to cut down a tree, you've got 9 years to sharpen your knife. Sort of axe, I should say.
Yeah.
So it is about the preparation that brings about the execution. So there's so much work that goes into this.
Of course, also that's the same in our industry, right? First time, teamwork, all of that. We have, of course, the fastest lap, the fastest pit stop is a DHL asset within Formula One as well. When we talk about pit stops and you see the timings also with the different sizes of tires over the time, how has this developed in 20 people on one car?
So I'll give you an example. When I was racing, my team was upset because I didn't stop in the box properly. And they said, I got overtaken by Michael Schumacher in a pit stop, and they were all sulking afterwards. And I said, what went wrong? He said, well, you didn't stop in the right place. I said, well, how am I supposed to know how to stop in the right place? So I said, okay, next time what happens is, when I come in, I want someone to put their hand over the wheel. So do you remember for a long time there would be a guy with his hand? And the point is, you knew from the cockpit, you could see when you were in the right place because the top of the wheel stops right under it. So I developed that technique, and everybody started doing it. and that fixed that problem. So, but it was very unsophisticated when we started, and
It worked.
That's the difference. Now it's much more sophisticated, as you know, and they've got electronic jacks and hydraulic jacks and stuff that quick releases. And the guy at the front is the bravest man, but he has the trickiest job. It's literally, there's no time to spare. Once that car goes down, once he lets go of that, he's got to swing that jack out of the way, and it's articulated so that he can just run and drag it out of the way, and the car's already moving. So 6 seconds or something to change all four wheels.
No, I think it goes below 2 seconds.
Was it below 2 seconds?
Yeah.
Oh, anyway, boom, boom, it's like that.
Take cars techniques. We spoke a little bit about it as well. What technological innovation you would like to see back in your time, which there is today?
Yeah, it's a good one. I think that I was very lucky. I started with a very technical car, with the active suspension cars, and then it got so good, it unfortunately banned everything. So we were forced to go backwards. I would not enjoy having to do all this stuff with a steering wheel, because I think my brain would explode. I had to think of all the buttons and knobs. I mean, you look at the steering wheel I had on my car, it's very simple. It was minimalist. So we had on-off switch, radio button, that was it. And it turned the wheels. That's about all it did. It had gear changes behind. So what would I like? I think the Halo was the thing that I didn't need it when I was racing, but I was very lucky I didn't need it. So I think we're very lucky to have the Halo. I was opposed to it when it came in. I didn't think it looked nice, but it's a lot nicer than seeing a driver in hospital or worse. So that's probably the one thing that I would have liked to have had. But I played with fire and I got away with it. That's what you can say.
That's true.